In the headlines, former Osun State Governor Oyetola rests case as panel admits Adeleke's results. Governors fault federal government claims on infrastructure development in the state. Terrorists abduct about 31 people in Katsina villages. And away from Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo declares 3 days of mourning after massacre of over 100 people. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Saturday tendered the original copy of the secondary school certificate of Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke at the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Osogbo, the state capital. The All Progressives Congress and its candidate in the July 16 governorship election in the state, Adeboyega Oyetola, are challenging the result of the election before the Justice Tese Kume's three-man election tribunal. The petitioners, through their counsel, Lateef Fagbemi, demanded the original copy of Adeleke's certificate, and the court mandated INEC to produce it. Counsel to INEC, Henry Akunebu, tendered the original copy of the certificate to the court on Saturday, and it was admitted as an exhibit. Thereafter, the petitioners closed their case, and the tribunal adjourned till December 20 for the first, second, and third respondents, INEC, Adeleke, and the People's Democratic Party, to open their defense. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission office in Olu, local government area of Imo State, has been set ablaze by unknown arsonists. The arsonists attacked the building undergoing renovation on Thursday. An ex-resident electoral commissioner for Imo State, Sylvia Agu, confirmed the attack in a statement issued by the National Commissioner, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye. Okoye, who said some of those working on the site were kidnapped, but later released, also disclosed that the timely intervention of the police deployed to the site reduced the damage. INEC expressed worry over the recent attacks on its facilities across the country ahead of the 2023 general elections, saying that such attacks have negative consequences on its preparations for 2023. Now, candidates of various political parties participating in the 2023 governorship election in Oyo State have signed a peace pact towards a violence-free 2023 elections. The ceremony was held at the police headquarters in Eleyele, Oyo State Command in Ibadan. Present at the ceremony was the incumbent governor, Seyi Makinde of the People's Democratic Party, Bayo Adelabu of the Accord Party, and Popola Josiah of the New Nigeria People's Party. But the All Progressives Congress candidate, Teslim Folari, was represented by his deputy governorship candidate, Okunlola Oluwafemi. The event was chaired by the chairman, Peace Accord Committee, and former governor of the state, Rashid Ladoja, and hosted by the Commissioner of Police in the state, Adebowale Williams.
Guides designed in order of recognizance and undertaking to keep peace and good conduct among political actors and their supporters before, during, and after the 2023 general election.
Engineer Seyi Makinde. Other candidates, all of them are all here. Bayo Adelabu is here. Akim is here. POJ is here. I'm sorry, I'm already an old man. After all of you are Omadu Abis. We know what Omadu Abis will do, and we know what Omadu Abis cannot do. We are all Omadu Abis. And in fact, after the elections, we will still be friends.
I wasn't given any special treatment as the sitting governor of Oyo State. That is democracy at home. That is what we would like to see, and that is a wake-up call for all of us occupying, certain positions right now. That our bosses are the people.
It's the first of its kind in the entire 36 states. After the National Peace Accord signed in Abuja, and as a peace-setter state, I'm not surprised that Oyo State is the first to take this giant step. It means that all political aspirants now, all candidates of all parties are aware and are conscious of the fact that they have a responsibility to ensure a each free, peaceful political electioneering campaign.
Now, with activities geared towards the 2023 general elections gathering momentum, some residents of Makurdi in Benue have been commenting on what they would change if given the opportunity to lead. Speaking with Jimmy Azande, the residents are hopeful that with the kind of change, the nation will be better for all. The report.
The residents were categorical on what they feel are the problems of the country. Some argue that it is not about individuals so much as it is about the institutions of government and the craze for white-collar jobs.
If you are the governor or you are made the president of the country, you are subjected to the rules and regulations, the laws of the land. And whereas individuals who are being appointed or elected in offices, high offices, become more stronger and bigger in a manner that they can do and undo whatever they want to do. I think that's where we are getting it all wrong, and that is causing us huge problem and underdevelopment. So if I'm given the opportunity to change anything in this country, is to strengthen institutions above individuals.
If given the opportunity in this country, I will change the ideology of all must have a white-collar job, and the issue of even those who are not capable of acquiring tertiary education, struggling to make it where it is not necessary.
For others, the leadership recruitment process and the security architecture of Nigeria need a total overhaul.
Okay, if I have the opportunity to change one thing in this life, is our leadership selection process in Nigeria. Reason being that we celebrate mediocrity. We competent people are left behind to select incompetent people to govern us, and as such, when these incompetent people go there, they represent themselves and the small group of people who select them, and that's
the opportunity first and foremost. I will change the security network in the country, because as it is now, one cannot move from one part of the country to another because of fear of being kidnapped or killed by anybody at all. So I feel that the security should be number one, because without security, there's nothing that can exist.
Either way, Nigerians are hopeful that the crop of leaders in 2023 will listen to their yearnings and aspirations and deliver the right dividends of democracy to the masses.
The governors of the 36 states of the Federation have said that they are surprised at the accusations leveled against them by the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clement Agba, over Nigeria's poverty index. The federal government, through the National Bureau of Statistics in November, said that 130 million Nigerians are poor, representing 63% of the nation's population. The minister had, after the Federal Executive Council meeting on Wednesday, told journalists that the federal government's social investment plan had not impacted optimally because of a lack of cooperation from the state governors. According to Agba, the governors concentrate on executing bogus projects rather than improving lives in the rural areas. But reacting in a statement signed by the Director of Media and Public Affairs, Nigeria Governors Forum Secretariat, Abdulrazaki Bello Barkindo, the governors described the minister's comments as unnecessary and diversionary, saying that they represent a brazen descent into selective amnesia. According to them, the assertion by the minister that the rural populace had been abandoned by governors is not only preposterous, and without any empirical basis, but also very far from the truth. Now, terrorists numbering about 40 and riding on motorcycles on Friday invaded Karare village in Batsari local government area of Katsina State. The terrorists killed one person and abducted an unspecified number of people, including women and children. Abdullahi Ahmadi reports that the bandits also abducted an unspecified number of students who were heading to the Government Day Secondary School, Karare, from Kokia village. As at press time, residents of Karare and Kokia villages were yet to confirm the number of victims from the Friday's abductions. Some residents expressed worry over the increasing spate of kidnappings for ransom, cattle rustlings, and killing of innocent people. While admitting the abduction of some residents, the chairman, Batsari local government area, Yusuf Yenji, however, refuted the allegations of students' abduction, saying that the story was unfounded. Now we'll take a short breather, and then when we return, we'll take a look at high praise for paternity leave. Details of this and more after the break. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dssPR@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
That's great. That's good to see you.
Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories again. Former Osun State Governor Oyetola rests case as panel admits Adeleke's results. Governors fold federal government claims on infrastructure development in state. Now, moving on, the federal government has expressed its plan to bring investment to different sectors of the economy to reduce Nigeria's reliance on debt. The Executive Secretary, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, Saratu Umar, stated this while speaking to State House reporters after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. The NIPC boss said that the commission believed that once it was able to bring an investment to different sectors of the economy, the burden of debt will decline. She said that the president, who supported the drive to strengthen the investment of Nigeria, also expressed his willingness to do the best he can to ensure the country's investment drive was given a lot of traction. The executive secretary said it will be able to generate more foreign exchange once NIPC had been able to facilitate exports.
As we do know, insecurity, of course, would kind of be of concern to any investor, but it's not really the major reason why investors would stay away. Of course, there are certain parts of Nigeria that are not really undergoing this issue, and for those ones that are not having the issue, we're trying to ensure we get investment to those sectors. And for those of them that are having the issue, we're trying to work doubly hard to see what's possible to still do within the situation we find ourselves. So the major takeaways is supporting the drive to strengthen the investment drive of Nigeria. And he's willing, within the time he's still here as president of Nigeria, to do the best he can to ensure the country's investment drive is given a lot of traction. So I'm very encouraged and I've been giving a lot of energy now to continue what we're doing at the Commission that would help the investment promotion drive of Nigeria.
The federal government recently approved a 14 working day paternity leave for civil servants at the federal tier of government. With the approval, fathers are now permitted to take off 2 weeks to celebrate the arrival of a new baby. Some Makurdi residents spoke to Jimmy Azandi, who reacted to this.
Like every other policy, this one too has generated different reactions across the gender divide. To some, it is a welcome development that should be replicated across the states and the FCT.
It's not just the women alone that get stressed during this period, transition from pregnancy to childbirth, the early infant stage, getting to when the child begins to work. And to work rather, it's a tough time for both parents. The mother needs, most times you find out that the child keeps the mother awake almost through the night. Many of them, babies are just funny. They just have a way of just staying awake through the night and falling asleep at the early hours of the day.
Going forward, the men, I'm sure they are also excited. You know, having to stay with their wife after delivery and caring for the child. And also, you know, most of the times you get to, you know, receive a lot of visitors who come to congratulate you and see the baby, mother and the child. So the men, I'm sure they'll be excited to also support their wife within this period.
The man should be around to nurse this child, and at the end of it, it will give them that relationship, closer relationship with the child that is being nursed. Most of these men, they go out in the morning before they come back this evening. So most of the time, this child doesn't get to know them well from their childhood, to get some level before they come to know what is my father, what is my father like, what does he want, what does he not want. That relationship is not as close as it should be. But with this thing in place now, it will foster the relationship of the father and the child.
What the federal government have said is not too bad. I believe if the paternity leave is to assist your wife as well, to be taking care of your junior ones. So the idea is not that bad.
But there are also naysayers to the law. These ones feel there is no need. They say it is wrong for both the husband and wife to embark on leave, especially if both are civil servants.
For me, I look at it as not being fair. I see no need that men should go on maternity leave just like the women. Because sometimes when men proceed on maternity leave, majority of them are it will be them that will be in the offices. And if men proceed to maternity leave just like women, I think it's not fair on my side. I'm a man, but I didn't welcome the idea.
The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, in a circular, explained that the leave shall not be more than once in 2 years and shall be for a maximum of 4 children.
Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress have described as unacceptable the lingering scarcity of petrol across the country and the unapproved price hike above 240 naira a litre in the country. They urged the government to find an immediate solution to the shortage before things get out of hand. In a joint statement by the NLC and the TUC, the organized labor said no excuse was good enough for the shortage because no private individual or company was importing a litre of PMS into this country. They argued that all products are imported by the government, adding that there is no record that the agency of government that is importing the products has added a kobo to the price it sells to the marketers. In the statement, the president of NLC and TUC, Ayuba Waba, and Festus Osifo, said that they are reliably informed that the shortage is deliberately fostered by players in the downstream sector in order to hike the price far above the government-approved threshold. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is scheduled to depart from Abuja on Saturday for the Socialist Republic of Vietnam to engage in high-level bilateral activities in the Southeast nation. The engagement will include meetings with the President, Vice President, and Prime Minister of Vietnam, other government officials, as well as the business community. This was contained in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Media and Publicity, Laolu Akonde. According to the statement, the Vice President's 5-day visit comes after former Deputy Prime Minister of Vietnam, Vuong Hue, visited Nigeria in October 2019 in the view of the trade and bilateral relations between both countries. During the visit, Hue was said to have met with Osinbajo and other senior Nigerian government officials and also interacted with the Nigerian-Vietnam Business Association. The African youths have been challenged to seek African solutions to challenges bedeviling the continent. This they can do by leveraging the power in their numbers as the youngest population in the world to think of innovative solutions that will lead to an increase in investment in economic and social development factors that will improve the development index of African nations. Here in Nigeria, youth development stakeholders across more than 3 dozens of youth organizations from 15 countries are leading engagements across sectors to forge a united youth of Africa that will ensure that the state of youth in the continent is one that can provide Afrocentric answers to issues of unemployment, crime, substance abuse, affordable housing, and affording education.
Lack of employment opportunities, failure to succeed in the education system, substance abuse, pressure of materialism, lack of affordable housing, negative stereotyping, pressure of 24-hour social media networking, crime, and lots more. Africa has the youngest population in the world, with more than 400 million young people aged between ages of 15 to 35. Such a youthful population called for an increased investment in economic and social development factors in order to improve the development index of the African nations.
Now, away from Nigeria, 3 days of national mourning have begun in the Democratic Republic of Congo after the alleged massacre of civilians in the country's east, with the government now giving a death toll of more than 100. The period of mourning began on Saturday and will end on Monday with a televised fundraising event to support victims, Government spokesman Patrick Muyaya said. On Thursday, the government accused the M23 militia, with whom it is locked in a months-long conflict, of slaughtering 50 people at Kishishev, a village around 70 kilometers north of the city of Goma. The M23 hit back, saying that the allegations were baseless and denied that it targeted civilians. At a Council of Ministers meeting on Friday, the DRC's president, Felix Tshisekedi, condemned in the strongest terms the massacre of more than 100 compatriots in Kishishev, Muyaya has said. And now in sports news, United States is out of the 2022 World Cup, losing 3-1 to the Netherlands on Saturday in the round of 16, a third consecutive defeat at this stage of the tournament. The Netherlands took an early lead and added a goal just before halftime, but Haji Wright pulled one back in the 76th minute for the Americans, only to have the Dutch come right back and score to essentially ice the game. It's a disappointing end of the road for a young U.S. MNT, which had failed to qualify for the 2018 tournament. The Netherlands, who also failed to qualify in 2018, will face the winner of Argentina-Australia in the quarterfinals on Friday. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching.